Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Finance Friday. I'm very excited to have you guys on here today. Obviously, as per the title of today's video, today I want us to talk about how to unlock your earning potential as a freelancer. So this video is not for everyone. This video is for the people who really want to know how they can begin to sell their skills, either as for whatever you do, whether it's a consultant, a photographer, maybe you're even trying to figure out exactly what you would need to do or what kind of freelancing you would need to do to increase your earning potential, then this video is for you. Let's be realistic, guys, and we talk real stuff on this channel. It's very limiting to have one source of income. And actually, one of the things I keep telling people is that if you just have one source of income, it's too close to none, because overnight that could go. So I just want to kind of like have a very quick discussion with you guys about how you can begin to especially packaging yourself. I feel like so many of us have skills. We know that maybe this thing I can monetize it or I can do ABC with it, but you don't know exactly how you can package it, and you don't know how you can begin to sell it so that you can begin to make either additional income or even generate a completely reliable source of income for yourself. So if you're interested in finding out some of my key pointers on how you can do that, keep watching. Now, before I get into the 4 points or 4, directives that I would give for someone who wants to begin to start monetizing, or rather earning through freelancing, one of the things that I need to talk about is the freelancing advantage, but also what it takes. So obviously, everyone keeps telling us, when you have employed yourself, you have kind of like some bit of a control. You become your own boss. So you run your schedule, you run your own time. You also get to set your own schedule, although I've learned in my experience as now a freelancer for 4 years that your clients end up actually controlling your schedule at some point. But then my most favorite part, and this is the biggest advantage of being a freelancer, is that you actually earn based on your skills and you earn based on your effort. I've even seen sometimes in employment that you put in so much effort, you put in so much work, but you see that it barely sometimes reflects on your paycheck. You don't get the promotion you were hoping. In fact, the most hardworking employees get the most work. It's like they just keep adding more work to you because now you're so, you're very dependable. So that's one of the things I love about being a freelancer, that you really get to earn based on your effort, your skills. And as Kenyans like to say, vile umejituma, like ukijituma in freelancing, you really are going to earn money. However, one of the disclaimers that I would like to give, this video is not a get rich quick conversation, okay? You're not gonna do it overnight, and it's very highly dependent on so many other areas that I'm going to highlight. So I do not want you to get in with an attitude that it's just gonna be overnight, but I would like to point you in the right direction on where to look. Okay, the goal of today's video is to point you in the right direction on where to look if you're interested in starting to earn as a freelancer. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the first thing that you need to do. In order to realistically earn from freelancing, you need to have a skill, and you need to have already identified what that skill is. And this is one of the reasons when I started today, I said that this video is not for everyone. This video is not for you if you are, confused about what you're good at still. You're still wondering, am I good at cooking, or is it photography, or is it public speaking? The first thing that you need to do so that you can, in real life, realistically start seeing money coming in from freelancer, you need to have an actual skill. And you need to have been able to identify that skill. Because if you've not yet identified the skill, it means you're doing nothing towards, building up your either efficiency or how good you are in that skill. You're not telling anyone that you are able to do this thing. You're not trying to sell to anyone. You're not trying to package anything, right? So please start by first of all identifying your skills. I've said this on this channel before, and I'm always gonna repeat it every time I talk about skills. You really, really need to invest in self-awareness to be able to know what you are good at. And sometimes it may not be easy for you to know what you're good at by yourself. So if you need additional help, please involve trusted family members or friends who will actually tell you, by the way, I really like how you do this, or you're a really good cook, or you draw very nicely, or you organize very well, or you're very good with children. You really have to get as much support and as help if you're not able to do it for yourself. You could also begin to do like something that I call a SWOT analysis. As strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths meaning that you get some time to just list down what you're really, really good at so that you can maximize on those things. W for weaknesses, so that you can know what would ideally stand in your way, and not just knowing, but like knowing your weaknesses should ideally help you work on them. If you know, I'm not so good with accounting, I'm not so good with editing, I'm not so good with public speaking, these are some of the areas that are very, very good to be aware that it's a weakness so that you can begin to work on it or even get resources to help you get better at it. All right. So please, be good at something, actually, like have an actual skill that you have identified, right? So it could be anything: graphic design, coding, writing, teaching yoga, being a personal trainer, being a gym trainer. It could literally be anything. What I do know for sure is that your own personal skills are really your ticket to financial freedom or financial independence. And the truth of the matter is that no one can do this for you. No one can identify it for you. You actually have to begin to figure it out by yourself. And this is one of the reasons I said this is not going to be overnight, because some of us need some weeks, some months. I hope it doesn't get to years to figure out exactly what you're good at and exactly what your skills are. If you want to know your skills, start by looking at, did you gain skills through your schooling? Some skills are gained because you went to school. Like for me, I knew I could do finance-related anything because I went to school for finance. My undergrad is in Bachelor's of Economics and Finance, okay? Another way you can identify skills, some skills are acquired through, life experience, right? Or previous experiences. So maybe you didn't go to school for art, but you're just a natural born artist. You didn't go to school for cooking, but you're dope in the kitchen. You probably did not go to school to learn something like public speaking or marketing, like myself. And you're just a chatterbox, like Coach Susan. Unaongeanga hata usiku na ukiamsha utaendelea tu kuongea. That's some of the ways you can identify your skills. So it could be from school. It could also be from previous experience or things you've already identified about yourself. And the third way could be what people compliment you on. If you listen to people around you that are not kamatia rochafo, who are honest enough to tell you, I really like how you do this, or I like how you do that. So those are the three ways to know what you're good at. Maybe training or background in school, past experience, or things you're just unnatural at. And number three, things that people compliment you on. Okay? Now, the second thing that you need to do in order to realistically package your skills and sell them as a freelancer is to actually have a leveled up skill set. I've always told people that this is not, I'm not talking about hobbies. I'm not talking about by the way things that you do when you feel like or you don't. I'm talking about freelancing that gives you income that is A, consistent, and B, sustainable. Like something that can earn you money in the next year, 2, 3, 4. In fact, something that can earn you so much money that if you were employed, you would even consider quitting employment. Or if you weren't employed, you would not even desire to be employed because your freelancing gig is giving you enough money to sustain your livelihood. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So, for you to be able to earn from such a freelancing gig, you have to have a special skill set. In other words, you really need to be good at that thing, right? And when I say good, it means you're so good that it sets you apart from thousands of other people who do the same thing, right? Which is why for me, I always say for you to be able to package and sell your skills as a freelancer, you really need to have a budget set aside for learning and for growing. I've told you guys on this channel that if I came with an Excel sheet, for example, of how much investment I have done in myself and in my skills to be able to run the kind of business I do, honestly, I feel like some of you wouldn't even believe it. And I know we all want to hear of a business that requires zero capital or very little capital, but please don't just stop or accept to stay at that particular point. When you've invested nothing, I genuinely feel that you also you're not as good, to be honest, because I thought I was good at public speaking until I attended an actual public speaking class and I realized I'm not that good. I'm still not that good. I'm working and practicing on the same. I mean, I've even had interviews on this channel where some of you came at me and you told me, Coach, you're not allowing like your guests to speak. You're speaking over them. And that's very good feedback because I'm able to go back and say, okay, when I'm doing a solo video and it's just me, it's perfect. But when I'm around other people, because I'm so used to dominating the conversation, I might need to look at, for example, how to interview. So I might be a good public speaker as an individual, but I'm not so good at interviewing, for example, and just lending a listening ear and allowing the guest on my show or on my video today to speak and articulate their points and all of that. So it's something I'm learning. You might be you might have the photography skills, for example, but you may not really be as good, like in such a way that it sets you apart, that people know this photographer as the so and so, or people are like, if I do a wedding, I want so and so to photograph for me. What sets these people apart? Why do people say, if I'm gonna do a wedding, so and so will do my makeup? If I'm gonna be getting married, so and so will do my videography and photography. It's because these people have leveled up their skill set. You're not just able to do it, you are good at it. I don't know if that makes sense. So freelancing and being able to sustainably earn from it is not just about someone who's coming to tell me, Susan, I can cook. Is that you can cook and meal prep so well that people are looking for you. It's not just someone saying that, I can write, but you can write so well that people are hiring you left, right, and center as a ghostwriter. They don't know you, but they read work you had written and they're like, this is interesting. Who wrote this, right? And pretty much that's how you actually earn sustainably from this. And this is where online platforms like Skillshare come in. I've been talking about Skillshare. I've been rambling about Skillshare, and I need you guys to really hop onto this bandwagon because you see, with Skillshare, you can access thousands of classes, on-demand classes covering pretty much everything from photography to digital marketing to yoga, physical training. It's not just about learning, but it's about honing in your craft and mastering new skills that actually clients value. And I want to show you a few snippets of what I've come across on Skillshare that I think would really help freelancers and creatives to be able to really hone in on their skills and skills that are on demand right now, today as we speak, that I think clients would highly, highly value and pay you for. This portion of today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. If you didn't already know, Skillshare is the largest online learning platform for creatives. In the spirit of using online platforms to hone in on your craft and even master new skills that clients will value, I have found Skillshare to be such a valuable partner to do that. For example, this is a course, or rather a learning path that I came across on how to grow your first online business with marketing fundamentals. It consists of 2 courses where the first course is about how to actually craft your purpose and your online presence, which is something, I know some of us struggle with. Like, you hear people making money online, but you don't even know how to actually build an online presence. And then the second course is on how to boost your dream business. Like, how do you actually land clients? What are lead magnets? And, how do you use them to get your first clients and all of that? This is just but an example. here on the screen, for example, we have a course for how to actually freelance as a yoga instructor. So maybe you're into physical fitness, you're a trainer, you want to improve on those skills, maybe even introduce yoga as an additional service or as an additional area of physical fitness that you train on. Maybe you're into gardening, for example, whether that is because you want to grow your own food or just because you want to get good at it and understand simple things on how to do a simple kitchen garden. It could be that you're even into art and music. Generally, skincare or Skillshare is your home for all of this and many, many more courses. Now, if you would like to have a taste of Skillshare and get to experience the thousands of courses that are in here that could be beneficial to you as a creative, whether that's for curiosity purposes, for upskilling purposes, or leisure purposes, I'd like you to get an experience of Skillshare, which is why the first 500 people to click my link down below will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. So please don't hesitate. Make sure you do that right now in this moment. Click the link down below to get 1 month free trial of Skillshare, and thereafter, believe me, you're gonna be enjoying. I'm pretty sure you'll be convinced and you're gonna stick as a member of Skillshare to keep enjoying avenues for learning more and just honing in your craft and your skill as a creative. Now, obviously, we want to work with an assumption that at this particular point, you have identified the skill, you already have or are in the process of honing it in and becoming so good that people are aware, they're looking for you, or that generally your work speaks for itself. But guys, for your freelancing gig to sell and for it to make you what we are calling consistent and sustainable income, you really must market yourself effectively. All right. Now, there are 3 powerful P's I teach all my business coaching clients, and I want to get you into those. And that is positioning, packaging, and pricing. We're going to talk about pricing at the very end of this video, so stick around. But for now, I want us to talk about the whole packaging and positioning yourself. We said we want to learn how to package and sell, okay? Now, what does packaging look like? I've always told people you need to have a niche offering, right? And that's how you package yourself. In other words, Susan Wanjiko is a personal finance coach who offers personal finance coaching. My niche product is personal finance coaching and a few things. I mean, pretty much everything I do is under the umbrella of personal finance coaching. I don't do any other kind of coaching. I'm not doing life coaching. I'm not doing relationship coaching. Coaching is so wide and it is so broad. And as much as my coaching certification, for example, trained us to become a general coach, whether that is a productivity coach, a health coach, whatever, the principles are the same. Right? But you do not become a jack of all trades if you want to make some really good money in freelancing. Remember, we said you want to identify a skill and then hone in on that skills in such a way that it is so valuable and on demand for clients. And then now you want to package yourself in such a way that these people know you offer this product. So imagine if today you are talking to me and you find that I am today coaching people on relationships. Tomorrow I'm coaching you on how to let's say, organize your home. The other day, I'm coaching you on finances. The beauty about packaging yourself and being able to identify a specific niche area that you can offer products and services around is it because it helps you target niche clients. All right? It helps you to know exactly the kind of language to use in your marketing. Listen to me, guys. I could talk to you. I'm so passionate, by the way. Anyone who knows me knows, especially the people who know me personally, I'm so passionate, for example, about politics. And maybe you guys don't know that because I don't talk about politics a lot, but it moves me to tears sometimes. I'm really big on social injustices. I'm big on women empowerment. I'm a believer and I'm so passionate about the Christian faith. I literally could do a whole blog and another separate YouTube channel to just be preaching, you know? Like, in other words, what I'm just trying to say is that I am, and so are many people, I'm multi-talented And I'm also interested in so many other things other than finance. And if I do say so myself, I think I'm great at some of these things as well. Yeah. However, as a freelancer, I wanted to actually make money in this one particular area, which is personal finance. So when you look at the content, for example, I put out on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, it's all about money. So I know a lot of people think that Coach Susan anapenda tu kuongea about pesa, but they siongeangi about pesa all the time. I don't talk about money even that much in my circles or even in my home or in my relatives' houses or families. I don't go around with a gun on people's head telling them emergency fund, budget, whatever. I do that here because this is my freelance gig. Okay, so why it is so important to identify how you would want to package yourself and the kind of product and service you would offer. It helps you to narrow down, to stop doing so many unnecessary things and to learn. If I was a personal finance coach and and my target market is someone who is struggling with budgeting, I want them to pay me to teach them how to budget. What kind of language or marketing would I use on my social media platforms? If I am let's say a trainer, a nutritionist, and I want to specifically target a woman who is postpartum and they are trying to recover, let's say from childbirth, and they're trying to lose some weight, what kind of content would I create for my YouTube, Instagram, whatever platform you use, brochures? How would I market such that that person hears this message, feels that it is relatable to them, and they want to work with me? If I was a photographer who trains people or who wants to work with certain caliber of, let's say, corporate clients, or you want to do documentaries, then because you're very niched down, you'd be able to know, I need to go maybe to Tsavo or Nairobi National Park, create some very good clips on the wildlife there, create a short documentary maybe in a community in some particular area of Kenya, and put out that work. What would that do? Any corporate or anyone who comes across your work that says, oh, this short documentary was very well done, and maybe in future they would need such a service, then they know exactly who to reach out to. That is why packaging and positioning is so important, guys. All right? So learn how to market yourself effectively. And when you're doing 1 million things at the same time, trying to reach 1 million clients, you probably are not going to do it very efficiently. So package yourself and position yourself as the go-to person if someone is looking for a meal prep guru. Package and position yourself in such a way that is, if someone is looking for someone who trains nannies to cook, to clean and all that, you're the go-to person, which means that utilizing your social media platforms, for example. I'm big on social media because it is a free marketing platform. While you people are arguing about who did what, who didn't do what, there are people who are just making money on social media because they've understood the power of digital. And I need you guys to hop on to that if you haven't already. A well done LinkedIn profile, a well done Facebook and Instagram profile, a well done YouTube channel has the potential to make you so wealthy, right? If you can use that platform to showcase your skills. So this is around the time, if you want to make money through freelancing, package and position yourself and then build a portfolio. Now, how do you actually build a portfolio? This is very, very important. So I'd like to take just a few minutes to talk to you about that. Why I think it is important is because you can't sell or market what you don't have. I can't market hot air for you guys. So let me give you a good example of how I personally did it in my coaching business, and maybe even give you another, maybe one example of how you can do it in another nature of business, not just coaching or content creation. So in 2020, when I started my coaching business, one of the things that I had to ask myself is, nitatoa wapi clients? Where are the clients going to come from? No one knew me. In fact, my page in 2020, my Instagram page, number one, I did not have a YouTube channel. And number two, my Instagram page around 2020 was slightly at 900 followers. I think around July 2017, I was at around 1700. followers. Just recently, I got like a Facebook reminder. Maybe if I find the image, I'm going to put it here. You can see, literally, I'm not lying. I did not start with the number of followers I have right now. I started with pretty much below 1,000, built up and built it up from there, right? So you start to wonder, and this is a question I keep getting a lot. People ask me, how do I get someone to know I offer these services? I'm so good at this thing, but I don't know where to get clients. My Instagram page is 100 followers, 20 followers. I don't even have a YouTube channel. And I've even seen people with YouTube channels. They're really, really trying hard and they're not even getting views. Now, how do you actually get people to notice you, to know you exist? And what will you even sell them? What will you show them as a portfolio if you don't have experience? And this is the same challenge you experience when you're at a new entry-level job and you're trying to get into employment. And these people want 7 years of experience. Now you're wondering, I am an entry-level person. I'm just fresh out of graduate. Where do you want me to get the 7 years experience from when you won't hire me? So one of the things I've found works very well is it is not the most comfortable thing to do, but in order to build your portfolio, you can do two things. Number one, you can work with what we call beta clients. Beta clients are just generally, this is just a jargon. It's clients you do work for free. But often you're not just doing it for free for the sake of doing it, but you're doing it in return for testimonials or a good review. So in other words, when I started coaching and I really felt that I can begin to work with people, with my 900 followers, I'd already started posting a little bit of content. A few people were interested, and people love free things, by the way. So I worked with around 7 people for free. So I just posted on my YouTube and my Instagram, and I told people, hey, if you're struggling with budgeting, I have this free session that you can sign up. And, I can help you figure out budgeting. If you're struggling with debt, this is something I'm personally also going through. I'd like to share some of the strategies I'm using to become debt-free, etc. So what happened is that people signed up. They were not paying for anything. But upon signing up, I would request them, if I do this coaching for you for free on debt and budgeting or investing, and it actually works, all I'm asking for is a written review. Either send me a message or a WhatsApp message or a DM, or even then I hadn't even known that you can review me on Google, but I would just ask them to send me their genuine feedback on what they thought about the coaching sessions, and especially if they found them valuable. And obviously it was good because I got such good feedback. And what I would do, I would take a screenshot of the feedback that they've given me and post it on my socials. That's a portfolio, guys. In other words, now someone who is skeptical and is wondering, this finance coach, who has she actually gotten results for? There's written testimonials of people I've worked with that say that I was able to help them get out of debt, or I was able to maybe help them begin to understand budgeting, saving, and investing. So the skeptics who want experience now are starting to see that other people are saying positive things about your particular service. So that's option number one. Work with literally beta clients for free who can give you testimonials, or even to begin to build your portfolio, you can charge low ticket. I know you want to start building websites and charge 100,000 for them, but when you're a beginner, maybe you can set someone up with 20,000 or even less, or 30,000. So you charge low ticket, and then obviously now that also helps you with building a portfolio. And this applies to whether you are a writer, a photographer. Please walk around, do some photography, put it up on your platform. If you cook, sometimes you may not have a client to cook for. Cook in your house, record the process of you cooking. Bake in your house, record the process of you baking, and put out the final product. And that is how you begin to build a portfolio. So having a website, a strong LinkedIn profile, or a strong social media profile can actually do wonders for you. If you do not market yourself effectively, there's no way freelancing will work for you as an income source or as an avenue to increase your sources of income. And remember, you cannot market what you do not have. So start by bare minimums, get testimonials, have some form of a portfolio, whether that will mean doing some work for free so that you can have a portfolio or evidence you've done this before, or whether you will do it for very low pay. I genuinely believe that it's a good starting point. And then with time now, once you've done packaging and positioning and marketing yourself, then you can begin to increase your prices, which brings me to my fourth point, which is pricing yourself or setting competitive rates. In order for freelancing to work for you, especially in the medium term to long term, you really need to know how to price your services, and you need to learn how to price effectively. So one, you must, with time, begin to research your niche and understand. For example, if you're an influencer, you want to know, okay, so micro influencers, people who earn below 5,000, what does their rate card look like if they want to work with a particular brand? For a photographer who's just starting or a videographer who's just starting, you only have 1 year worth of experience. Please don't be out here charging us like Ben Kiruthi. You know, there's literally, I always tell people, please research your niche, research what you do, the years of experience you have, again, your proof of work, like we've discussed before, your portfolio, and the proof of work that you have, and testimonials and what people are saying about your job. All those things will help you to understand the market value for your services. Some of us lack jobs. It's very interesting, by the way. Some of us lack jobs because of two reasons. You're either underpricing or overpricing. So I've found clients genuinely, guys, I kid you not, who will not work with you when you price too cheap, because they feel like it's also not a premium service, especially like if it's a very premium service. Like, I'll give you a good example. Maybe you run a massage parlor, and then I know people who would see that a Swedish massage is, let's say, 1,200 or 800 bob. And I personally would question what kind of a Swedish massage that is so cheap. So I'll probably feel like this, if I want a very clean, intimate, well-done service, I probably will think that this place is dingy or dirty, or there's just something wrong with the place that they're charging a Swedish massage that low. Yeah. And there are people who also will lack jobs because someone is looking at your portfolio, your proof of work, and is wondering, how is this person charging this much? They feel that there's like the service is not as valuable as what you're rating it. So there's like a sweet spot you really need to identify and learn in terms of pricing for your services, so that you're pricing in a manner that is effective and in a manner that will not lose you clients or even completely deter you from ever getting anyone to reach out and to actually pay you for the service. Now, learning how to set your prices, obviously, what I'm just saying is that it's the real game changer. And maybe what I want to do is I want to give you maybe some 6 pointers on what to think about before you set a price for your service. Number one, think about your profit margin. We are not here to do charity work. I'm here for business, and I want to know you're watching this video because you're trying to stand on business, right? So your profit margin is so important. Now, there's a class I attended sometime in 2021 where they taught us that 40% profit margin is a very good margin to begin to work with. So in other words, you want to look at the costs of production. Let's say you sell shoes, you manufacture, you make your own clothes, maybe you do cakes, maybe you cook, whatever it is. Look at the cost of your business, or rather the cost of conducting that particular business. And then once you've calculated all your costs, so let's say the entire cost, so let's say it was transport, whatever, you spent 1,000 bob to be able to deliver that product or service. Please do not price it below 40% profit margin, which ideally means that you should at least make 40% profit. So if, above, so assuming 1,000 bob is like your 100% or what you spent, you want to mark up the price by an additional 40%. And that's a good starting point. It's actually what is considered like a bare minimum for good pricing for most services and products. 40% is really, really good. So Because you see, your profits are ideally supposed to do so much for you. You're supposed to retain enough money to reinvest back into the business so that you can continue producing whatever it is, service or product that you sell. But remember, on top of you being able to reinvest back into the business, you need to be able to pay some business overhead costs. You also need to be able to pay yourself. You need to also be able to eventually expand. Where are you going to get the money to do for that if you're making 5% profit only on some very low-cost service or some low-cost product? So please ensure that you consider profit margin when you want to set your price. The second thing, consider business expenses, as I've mentioned. What are some of the day-to-day expenses? Do you have rent you'll need to pay? If you're a freelancer, sometimes I've found, especially if you're in the digital space, like I personally do not pay rent for the business because my home office, like I work primarily from my home office. This is an 100% virtual coaching business. And even when I'm meeting clients physically, I do have like an office space that I will rent occasionally just for the few hours that I need to meet a client physically, which I even highly discourage because remember, the business model I prefer to run is where I'm coaching people virtually. Whether you're in Kenya, outside of Kenya, in Africa, it doesn't matter. There's no barrier between me and my clients because we've structured the business in such a way that it will run efficiently and effectively virtually, right? But like I have other expenses. I pay for videography and photography and editing. I pay a virtual assistant. I pay a full website consulting company to ensure my website is running well, that my products and services can be bought automatically without me being there. I pay for Zoom. I pay for, like, there's so many other things I pay for. So when I price my services, my coaching services, my training services, I'm taking into consideration the amount of money it takes to keep this business running, right? The third thing, you will need to pay taxes unless you've been out here evading taxes, which is illegal, by the way. Illegal. Very illegal. You want to consider the taxes you'll pay. So be aware, depending on your country and the nature of your business, be aware whether you need to pay VAT. Be aware whether you will be deducted withholding tax. Like for me, every time I offer service to corporate institutions, I'm deducted withholding tax. I also need to pay corporate tax on my company, the Legacy Hub Kenya, and so many other obligations towards taxes. So I also consider that when I'm pricing my services. So for you guys who keep asking me, why do you charge so expensive for a consultation session? Guys, hizo taxes nitalipa aje? I must consider all these expenses and taxes for me to be able to offer my service. Otherwise, I will run my business down and I will not be able to serve my clients or my community the way I should. I won't be able to make rent. I'll have to find something else to do if you refuse to pay my worth, right? So consider all of those things. You also want to consider the investment or investments that you have made to get to where you are today and to become as good as you are. There's a reason surgeons are paid the way they are. These people have put in years and years of time and, you know, to get as good as they are. Cardiologists, such complicated careers, engineers, pilots. If you have invested some level of money, time to get as good as you are, then please consider that. I always tell people, imagine if you knew you would not need me. You would have just gone right ahead and done it for yourself. And this is one of the reasons I always tell people, especially because in our generation, we have so many freelancers. You people want makeup artists to do makeup for you for free. Ungekuneza kujifanyia yo makeup, ungejifanyia. So why are you not paying them? Like, do not look down on somebody's hustle, because a lot of these people are freelancers. If you have been able to do that photography for yourself with your iPhone, because I even see people negotiating in a very interesting way with photographers. It's like, si kama hii keki zangu ningejipigia na iPhone. I'm like, honey, do it. jipigie basi na iPhone. There's like, we need to respect the fact that for this photographer to get to where they are and for their images to look the way they do, they've invested some, maybe even they went to class, maybe they've spent hours on YouTube learning lighting and editing. For this makeup artist to know angles, they've invested. Right? For this personal finance coach to be able to sit with you for 2 hours and help you figure out your budget and a debt repayment plan is because they've invested. So as a freelancer, please price taking into consideration any investments, past investment of money or even time that you have invested to get as good as you are. And that's why I told you people in my previous point, please invest some money in upskilling. I've found that the better I get, the more I can charge, the wealthier I become. And that's just the reality, okay? Another thing you must consider is a salary you would eventually like to pay yourself from the business. It is absolutely pointless. And hear me when I say this, guys. Pointless for you to start and run a business as a freelancer and you cannot show us a paycheck you pay yourself. You may not be able to pay yourself in year 1 or even year 2, but eventually you should be able to pay yourself. So for a good example, like as I told you guys, I have a lean team, a small team of people. I have a videographer that I pay, a virtual assistant that I pay, and a web maintenance person that I pay, for example. How is it that I'm paying these 3 people every end month, but I'm not paying Susan Wanjiku? It does not make sense. What am I doing? Charity? So you have to consider at some point, will I need to pay myself? Obviously, you will need to pay yourself a salary. And this is actually one of the things that most freelancers have never figured out. But it's because even when you're pricing, you never consider, I need to put myself on payroll. So for me, under the Legacy Hub Kenya, I'm on payroll together with my other 3 team members because I also have personal expenses. So if you're running a business or if you're a freelancer and you're not able to see a way for you to actually put yourself on paycheck in your own business, then something is wrong with your pricing or how you even manage finances. And finances are really, they all stem from how you price your services, because how you price your service determines how much money is coming in. All right. And then finally, the last thing to consider is future expansion plans. Maybe you have a plan to buy new equipment. Maybe you have a plan to expand into a new space. Maybe you even want to get an office. Like, all of these things should be considered. Mumesikia hiyo listi hizo vitu zote: profits, business expenses, taxes, investments you made to get to where you are, paying yourself a salary, future expansion plans. And then you're just busy underpricing and undercharging for your service. Now, the biggest challenge freelancers get is being able to justify their prices to potential clients, because someone will come and ask you, why are you charging 20,000 to do a logo when I can get, I know a cheaper person who can do my logo for 5,000. Imagine your swali simbaya. Don't be telling clients. A lot of us don't know how to answer that question. So many times I work with corporates. They approach me. They want me to train their team, or they want me to amplify an event or a product that they have. And I give them my rate card. And it is not unheard of or wrong for someone to ask you to justify, all right, why you charge that much. Before, I used to shy away from answering that question, but now I don't shy away because I have learned to justify my prices. And the best way to justify your price is what I call value-based pricing. What is value-based pricing? You want to show your client, I know you're tempted to tell your client, "Woi maze, economy ni ngumu." That's not a very smart way to tell your clients why you're charging so high. Because economy ni ngumu for everyone, okay? I'm paying taxes. Paying taxes is not a good enough reason to justify your pricing. I have high expenses. That is not a good way to justify pricing. You know why? We are all going through taxes. We are all going through high cost of living. We are all going through it. So I've always found that you need to find a value-based way of justifying. So a good example from, like, in my business, I always ask my client, what is it costing you not to have this coaching session? You're complaining about 7,000. for one session with Coach Susan, for example. But at the end of this month, assuming you do not pay for this coaching class, how much are you looking to lose? You're going to invest money and you could potentially lose the money because you did not have the right information. I'm pretty sure you're losing more than 7,000. If you're not budgeting well and if you're not on top of your finances, I'm pretty much in the next 2 to 3 months, you'll have probably lost more than that 7,000. When you find a way to show your client that it is more valuable to work with you than for them not to work with you, have them see the value of your service, which brings me back to what I said. You have to be really good at what you do. Number 2, you have to have generated results. There has to be proof of concept. There has to be a proven record of results you've achieved for previous clients. So your portfolio is what will speak for you, which is why I'm really, really focused on how you package and sell yourself. So don't be out here doing mediocre work, alafu you're charging us premium. No, it's very, very possible. We buy iPhones for a reason. I know I can get a Huawei or whatever and it can still shoot and edit for me. I can still receive calls. But there's a reason people spend crazy amounts of money, for example, for Apple products because of the efficiency. So even as a freelancer, your work really needs to speak for itself. Your years of experience, even the speed of delivery. Freelancers are like fundis nowadays. You know, the way you're just told, fundi ni fundi. Fundi akikwambia Monday we mpe mpaka Friday, you know? If you're that kind of a person, you will not be able to sustainably earn and in such a way that you even become officially unemployable. So what I'm saying is that as a freelancer, you really need to be good at what you do. And not just good in your head, but so good that there's actual testimonials from people you've previously worked with. There's a proven track record of how well you deliver. If you do that and then now do this last thing we've just discussed, pricing well, taking into consideration all those things, you should be able to unlock your potential as a freelancer. And this is a very sustainable source of income. It's what I do. I'm a full-time freelancer. I don't depend on anyone to employ me or a salary, and I've been able to build a sustainable source of income. So today has been a mouthful, guys, but I really, really hope that you've picked a thing or two that you can focus on, either as an already existing freelancer or an aspiring freelancer. Don't ignore those things if you want to be able to sustainably make money from freelancing as a full-time gig or even as a part-time gig. Let me know in case of any questions. I'm really looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section down below. And please remember to get your free 1-month trial of Skillshare that I've linked down below. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Skillshare for sponsoring a portion of today's video. So until the next episode of Finance Friday, stay safe.